These 5 Nigeria politicians are the people that don't want Nnamdi Kanu released after these years being behind bars. Yes, they told us that it's about national security, but what if it's really about power, fear, and control? In this video, I'll review 5 powerful Nigerian politicians who secretly don't want Nnamdi Kanu to ever walk free, and the real reasons behind their silence. Today on Blackish Gold Originals, we will expose these people, and the 4th persons will shock you the most. Let's deep dive.
1. The presidency and federal power bloc. At the very top of Nigeria's power structure sits the presidency and the federal executive bloc, the ultimate authority over national security, justice, and internal cohesion. Every major decision about Nnamdi Kanu's detention eventually traces back to this center of power. For the presidency, Kanu's case is not just a legal matter, it's a delicate national security issue. Officials have repeatedly stated that his activities as leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, once fueled protests, sit-at-home orders, and clashes that disrupted parts of the Southeast. They argue that releasing him without clear conditions could destabilize peace and embolden separatist movements. From Abuja's viewpoint, maintaining control means preserving unity across Nigeria's diverse regions. However, this stance has also drawn criticism. Human rights advocates and international observers, including Amnesty International and the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, have called for due process and questioned the prolonged legal delays. Within the federal circle, there is a mix of caution, politics, and image management. The presidency wants to project firmness, yet avoid appearing unjust. Any decision on Kanu's fate has implications for security, regional balance, and political loyalty. Ultimately, the presidency's position reflects Nigeria's long-standing tension between national stability and individual rights, a balancing act that continues to define the debate over Nnamdi Kanu's release. But what if there are a set of Southeastern leaders that are also behind this Nnamdi Kanu's fate?
Southeastern governors. Caught between the expectations of their people and the authority of the federal government, the governors of Nigeria's southeast occupy one of the most delicate political positions in the country. Since Nnamdi Kanu's arrest and detention, public pressure across the region has remained intense, with many residents demanding that their elected leaders speak out more boldly. Yet, these governors operate under a constitutional framework that ties state funding, security, and major infrastructure projects directly to Abuja's control. Openly supporting Kanu's release could earn them instant popularity among the youth and pro-Biafra sympathizers, but it also risks federal backlash, budgetary delays, or even political isolation. The Nigerian federal system allows the center to allocate security forces and determine crucial development grants, making confrontation a costly gamble. Instead, most governors have resorted to quiet diplomacy, meeting federal officials behind closed doors, appealing for a political resolution while avoiding public confrontation. Their measured silence has often been criticized as weakness, but for many of them, it is a calculated act of political survival. This balancing act reflects a larger truth about Nigerian politics. State leaders rarely act freely when their states depend so heavily on the center for revenue and security. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that dependence has produced a cautious neutrality, a silence that protects their offices even as it frustrates their people. But while the governors struggle to protect their political positions, what about the people whose wealth and investments stretch far beyond the southeast? Who really gains or loses if Nnamdi Kanu's agitation shakes the economic balance of the country? Let's talk about the next power bloc, the Southeastern business interests. Beyond politics lies the money trail, the powerful undercurrent often overlooked in national debates. The Southeast is home to some of Nigeria's most dynamic entrepreneurs and investors, with billions of naira tied up in real estate, banking, transport, oil, manufacturing, and trade across major cities like Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt. For these business elites, any renewed agitation or talk of secession carries enormous economic risks. Political tension or unrest could disrupt trade routes, reduce investor confidence, and invite government scrutiny on businesses perceived to support separatist causes. Many remember how instability in 2017 to 2021 led to road blockades, protests, and losses worth millions. So, rather than take a loud public stand, most of these business investors quietly lobby for peace and economic stability, believing that keeping the nation's markets open and safe protects not just their profits, but millions of jobs across Nigeria. Their silence isn't always agreement. Sometimes it's self-preservation. But beyond the boardrooms and business districts, another voice in the Southeast also calls for caution. A voice shaped not by profit, but by memory and fear of history. Which brings us to the Southeastern scholars and opinion leaders.
Many educated voices and community leaders in the Southeast still remember the deep scars left by the Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970. For them, the fear is simple and powerful: never again. Over 2 million lives were lost during that conflict, and the memory of hunger, displacement, and destruction still runs through families across Igbo land. These intellectuals and elders believe that while the call for justice and fairness is valid, violent or aggressive agitation could reopen old wounds that Nigeria has never fully healed. They argue that a new conflict would not only hurt the region, but also destroy the economic progress and education of a new generation. Their message is one of caution, not weakness. They want peace through dialogue, negotiation, and legal reforms, not bloodshed. In their eyes, Kanu's case should push the country toward national conversation, not confrontation. But beyond these cautionary voices, another question remains. If some are calling for peace, why are others within the same movement still divided? That brings us to the next force shaping this story: the growing divisions within the IPOB movement itself.
Since the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu in 2021, the indigenous people of Biafra movement has faced serious internal division. The situation became more complicated after the emergence and later arrest of Simon Ekpa, a controversial figure who leads a splinter faction based in Finland. Ekpa has been accused by some of using Kanu's name to push his own agenda, especially through the enforcement of sit-at-home orders that caused hardship for people in the Southeast. These divisions have created confusion among followers of the Biafra cause. Instead of speaking with one voice, different IPOB groups now compete for influence, donations, and loyalty. Some members believe that Kanu's continued detention gives certain factions more control and power as they use his absence to lead in their own direction. This struggle for control has weakened the unity of the original movement that Kanu built. Many supporters now express frustration and uncertainty, wondering who truly represents the Biafra vision. The result is that the wider campaign for Kanu's release has lost momentum as internal disagreements and leadership battles distract from the central demand for justice and freedom.
In the end, Nnamdi Kanu's case is no longer just about one man in detention. It has become a story of power, division, and control inside his own movement. Many people who once stood together are now moving in different directions. Until the IPOB family finds unity again, their demand for Kanu's freedom will remain weak and confused. The question is no longer only when will he be released, but who truly speaks for him now. This has been Blackish Gold Originals. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories and deep insights.